Hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna keep pushing. So Carmelo Anthony, young man, just hold on tight, because the appeal has already been submitted. Okay, the appeal has already been submitted. Investors, like I told you, I don't know when you find me, but I told you that I was going to use my channel for Shador Sanders and for anybody in the community that needed my help. And as you can see, I'm standing on my word, and I'm not, oh gosh. And I feel really it's an honor for a time like this to already be established, monetized, and have a voice on YouTube where I can speak. Also, for anyone that come across this video, give my opinion on this commentary, because good gracious, some of the things that have been said on social media has been a disgrace. If Deshaun Watson is 1 for business purposes, Shador Sanders is 2 for talent, hey, I think we're still going to have a good winning record. And y'all, it's still going to go down in history, Cleveland Brown history, with the winning record that we're going to get this year if sports betting does not come and play a major part into this. But we're gonna continue to cover that. What's up, Justine? Where you been? They're asking for a Secret Service to get involved. Everybody is crying for Donald Trump to get involved. Listen, this is going to be one of the easiest cases to be overthrown and appealed. What you say, Mel? I was wondering about that. Usually you have a sentencing hearing, right? I thought that was strange and unorthodox. AI said it doesn't have it. AI couldn't give me one case where somebody was found guilty and sentenced in the same day. Hey, go out. If you're using AI, I use. All right, viewers, investors, you already know how to do it. You know that I'm ready. So make sure you go ahead and get your notes, your drink, and your vest over here. Tony Talks Vested Up. Once again, go ahead and make sure you got your notes, your drink, and your vest, because you know how we do it over here. Tony Talks Vested Up. Yes, we have seen the video. Isn't it ironic? Hold on, let me go ahead and come to the stage. Let me go ahead and come to the stage. All right, isn't it ironic that yesterday in my live I was breaking down on how the video, according to his name is Cody Thompson from CourtTV, had described the video, and it was less than 12 hours that the video got released. Now, why I'm bringing that up regarding how Cody Thomas had described the video, that is the video that we just saw last night. I know everybody's seen it. I don't even have to worry about pulling it up, because I'm pretty sure you have already downloaded it for a time like this. And once I say, even though my channel was established because the injustice that Shador Sanders experienced last year with the NFL, I said right then, even though my channel is based on Shador Sanders, I'm going to use my platform to also speak for all young black and young women that is being done wrong in this system. And if I have to create another channel just to talk about the injustices in the community, I'll do that. But for right now, since he was a star football athlete, he was a star track athlete, he had 21 scholarships, he did everything right in his life, his parents did everything right. They said that our community, the fathers are not in the home, they said that the mothers are baby mothers, but this is one couple and one family nucleus that did everything right. And they still got railroaded. And based off that video right there, hold on, I gotta save that. So what we saw yesterday, they released the video, and y'all, based off that video right there, that appeal should come faster than expected by releasing that video. And if you think, what's his name? Texas Attorney General Kenneth Paxton, whatever his name is, I'm going to say yes. The social media content creators, yeah, we apply that pressure. And we will continue to apply that pressure. But you think, I'll put it like this, if you don't think that the federal government behind the scenes is not behind the scenes, even with an informal inquiry, you're not paying attention. You don't understand how things works. Once again, so let me rephrase this question. We are applying pressure, and we're going to continue to apply that pressure with the legal terms, with common sense. We're going to continue to expose the inconsistencies. But if you don't think that the federal government has not intervened behind the scenes, you got another thing coming. Texas Attorney General Kenneth Paxton, he sealed and suppressed this video over 1 year ago. And after 12 days after that wrongful conviction, being overcharged, all of a sudden he got to release the video, or he released the video. Put two and two together. But I want to read this right here. That video that was released yesterday has given evidence and credence to the web of lies, and also Karmelo's Anthony self-defense. Yes, I'm going to say it. I saw what I saw, even though it was bad quality. We're going to play devil's advocate over here with that video. And y'all, just by watching that video and the body cam that was released for that police that put him in handcuffs, that verdict by default should have been not guilty. And for the appellate, the court appointed lawyer, listen, if you need some help, don't forget this video that they just released that the public and the world is currently consuming. And I know you don't need my help. I'm not even a lawyer, but don't forget to use this term. It's called reasonable doubt. Just by that video alone, because how they have blurred it up, how they have edited. Listen, I don't even think that's the right, that's the same video that the 50 people that saw the video before the video got suppressed is the right video. But hey, but I'm gonna stay right here. But let's just say this was the video that those 50 people saw last year, which I don't think it is because it's grainy. But just by this video alone, reasonable doubt alone should go ahead and get that appeal granted and a retrial. I'm going to say get the whole thing thrown out, because we saw those boys, the 6 of them coming down that sidewalk. They went directly up into that stands to confront Karmelo Anthony. He was already there. He was sitting under that M. Isn't that ironic? Even though that video was grainy and you couldn't see nothing, but we saw that figure directly under that M. Now, if Karmelo Anthony, and by the grace of God, if he was sitting in any other place under that tent, we really couldn't really make out what happened. But because he was destined to sit right there under that M, we could say, oh, that's him right there, because that's what we saw, the pushing. And it was multiple pushes, and he was jumped by multiple assailants. I'm going to continue to use these words, multiple assailants, because go ahead and look up Texas Penal Code regarding multiple assailants. He could have used anything in his vicinity to protect himself from being jumped. But 12 days after being wrongfully wrongfully convicted with a guilty verdict on the 9th of June, Collin County, in my opinion, the federal government has intervened and released the Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf self-defense video from April the 2nd, 2025. The released video footage at the sports event shows proof of multiple assailants' attack and against Karmelo Anthony, which was charged with first degree. This video alone, let's go ahead and talk about it, prosecutor. This video alone, your grounds that you had dreamed of and what you said how you was going to charge Karmelo Anthony, this video just destroyed the first degree for murder. It was not premeditated on Carmelo Anthony, and it definitely was not intent. Now, what this video did show, if Carmelo Anthony had lost his life and didn't fight back in those stands, this video here would have shown that the Metcalf brothers and their friends was the one actually would have been charged with first degree murder, because it was premeditated on the way that they walked up that sidewalk and out that gate and went straight up there. That's premeditation. And the intent, you know what their intent was because of what ensued. So let me slow down. So like I said, for the viewers and investors that has been with me since day one, you know this channel is for education purposes and entertainment purposes, but just stay with me because today there's no entertainment in this. This right here was the smoking gun that Collin County just released. Like I said, if anything, it definitely shows reasonable doubt of what happened in that stand. And because it is grainy and we can't make out who is who, but we know according to their little circles, that was Carmelo Anthony that went up them stands. At a minimum, this is reasonable doubt, and a mistrial must happen or get the charges thrown out, because that was show evidence. Even with the blurs, even with the human blurs, it shows self-defense. It shows multiple attackers around that young man. It definitely shows that. And listen, that weapon that came out, that's not a utility tool. I'm sorry, we're not buying that. I'm not buying that. That's that weapon. I'm not buying that. And I've seen many people that was in that was in the courtroom that particular day. We've heard their accounts. It was a utility tool. So that particular one, it don't have a flashlight, it don't have a squirt screw, it don't have them other tools. That's just a knife. Because I carry one of those. That's just a knife. It probably has dimensions this wide. It has no other tools on there versus that blade. We ain't falling for none of it. Self-defense. And also to you young people that jumped on Carmelo Anthony to attack him by default. And the law, since everybody's saying it was the law, based off that wrongful conviction, everybody that was under that tent, and they got into that altercation with Carmelo Anthony by Texas law, commission of a felony was just proven. Because Austin Metcalf lost his life, commission of a felony. Those young people, when they got up on them stands and they raised their right hand and they said, I don't even know, because I never had to do that before, thank God. Y'all know what the words is. They just committed perjury, y'all. We just got proof that they committed perjury. Everything that they accounted in those police statements just contradicted everything that was in that grainy video. Everything that they just put in those affidavits, those police statements and records, major contradictions. Those 26 people and all those witnesses just committed perjury. This is exactly what Collin County has handed us. They did not hand us the video showing where Carmelo Anthony was rightfully convicted. No, they showed that the prosecution, they had it in for this young man, had no proof of burden, no, nothing. They failed at that. They failed at the at demonstrating the first degree for murder. They failed at that. They also failed that the witnesses that they called on the stands are liars. They may have been 17 during that incident, but some of them young students at the time is now 18. They should be called in as an adult and re-questioned. I'm trying to tell you, the appeal lawyer and the family private attorney, definitely. You have all the ammunition now. Especially ineffective assistance of defense counsel. You already heard what the judge from Texas said. Matter of fact, he was not just an appellate judge, he was a special prosecutor for Texas. And I'm going to play that just to remind you, if you didn't catch that live, of what he said along with a prior prosecutor. Oh my gosh, y'all. This right here is the smoking gun that Collin County thought that they was giving the public to show proof that Carmelo Anthony committed first-degree murder, since that's what they charged him with. No. This whole entire video shows the opposite. And only thing that is definitely clear, that you see him run up the stairs and he's running away. He's running away to get away from his attackers. Because if Carmelo Anthony was really running away from the scene, they never would have caught him. Matter of fact, you could actually see him coming back into the lens of the camera, just walking and being still. And Coach, what's his name, Hopper, putting his arms around him, just like he stated. Carmelo Anthony wasn't trying to get away from the scene because he committed a crime. No, he was trying to get away from the people that jumped him in that stance, because he never would have came back into view. He never would have came back into view. And did you see him on the body cam? Let's talk about the body cam. Did you see how respectful he was? Yes, ma'am. No, man. Does that sound like a killer? Does that sound like a killer? Did you hear how he was just non-confrontational? He put his hands up. He didn't ask questions. Why? He sat down. They handcuffed him. They got him up. And then he said, I did it in self-defense. I told him not to put his hands on me. Did you hear how that young man was cried out of his spirit? I told him not to put his hands on me. I told him not to put his hands on me. And not one time did I hear Carmelo Anthony. Oh, you know what? I'm not even gonna bring that up, because to all the police officers that made claims that Carmelo Anthony said what he said, I'm gonna leave that up to you. You do your own homework. You do your own job. You find out your own mistakes. I will not be highlighting those mistakes over here. Hold one. I will not be highlighting your own mistake over here. Nah, that's your job and the job of the appeal attorney, and also the new private lawyer for Carmelo Anthony. Hold one. And thank y'all so much for supporting the videos with the comments. That's all I ask for, is a like. Just hit the thumbs. And it's not for me, it's for Carmelo Anthony, for this video to keep moving. And that's exactly what y'all are doing. Just hit a like and come back after the video. Just comment so the algorithm can continue to push everybody who's in support of Carmelo Anthony. That's all I need, a like and a comment after this video. Trust me, because the federal government, you cannot tell me this, the federal government, formal or informal, the United States Department of Justice and the United States Civil Rights Office, they are also considered federal government. Okay, so don't get it confused. When I'm saying the federal government, I'm not just talking about the United States president. No, I'm not talking about his office. The federal government have so many different departments under that umbrella. I'm not just talking about the president. I'm talking about the civil rights attorney. I'm talking about the United States Department of Justice, special investigators, special prosecutors. You cannot tell me they are not working something behind the scenes or asking the right questions, because you can't tell me that Texas Attorney General just released the tape for nothing. And he also had it suppressed for over a year. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead. Now, a talking point that I want to bring up. And I want to slow down and really hit this home. I go back to my live that I did yesterday. Based off the description given by Cody Thompson in his recount of the video on CourtTV, I'm going to beg the question again. The juries that was in that case, the 12 juries that took an oath to do the due diligence and review all evidence and scrutinize all evidence as a jury. You mean to tell me that you convicted Karmelo Anthony based off that janky video there? You mean to tell me that you convicted Karmelo Anthony off of that video right there? Now, based off that video, we all can say, as foundational Black Americans, based off that video there, the race element is proven. You convicted Karmelo Anthony off of that video because he was a Black American. Now that video has come out, it is proven that race has played a part in this case. The race element is valid and alive today. So thank you, Collin County. Thank you. You just proved that his race was the main factor into this. For all of you 12 juries, and I'm talking to you today, you sit up there in that courtroom, in that jury stand, and looked at this weak video, and you convicted this young man. Even when you saw him running away, and he went up and out, you didn't even consider that young man came back into the scenes and was talking to everybody with a calm demeanor, and he screamed. He put his hands on me. It was in self-defense. You sat up there with your big grown age, and you thought that you had the protection, the complexion for the protection to send this young man up in the river with that video there. But you can't even tell who was under that tent except for Karmelo Anthony. And I say again, Karmelo Anthony, if he was sitting any other place under that tent, we wouldn't even be able to identify him in those blobs. Because remember, Cody Thompson said it was blobs, and we saw that. You can't make out who is who. But we know, even in that blob, you distorted that video. You manipulated that video, because why everything else is 4K except for under that tent. And we're in 2026. And you mean to tell me that that high school don't have any 4K cameras installed to show exactly what happened in that stand? It's okay. Well, hey, guess what? If you want us to believe that, okay, bet. But if you want us to believe that regarding that video, you also have to believe this video acquits Karmelo Anthony. It shows self-defense. It shows multiple attackers. And it showed it was not premeditated. And it was not intended on what happened in that stands. And it also shows that the Metcalf brothers and his friends who went up in those stands and they surrounded that young man. And in this particular video, 3 to 4 minutes passed by. It is a pushing match, the altercation. And let me tell you one thing, Hunter Metcalf, you're not a student no more. You're not a delinquent, and you're not a juvenile. You are a grown man young now. If Karmelo Anthony is 19, that means that Hunter is 19 too. And let me tell you one thing. I don't know why you wasn't subpoenaed in the first case, but now with you being an adult, you definitely should be subpoenaed, because I remember your testimony and those interviews. You definitely can go get questioned alone. You're no longer a minor. And you know what? Going back to what I was saying before the sister went out, you stated that you and your brother, y'all didn't know Karmelo Anthony. The video showed else. The video showed something totally different. They show intent and in purpose to go. Y'all went directly towards that young man who was sitting up there minding his own business. Y'all are the one that actually committed first degree of anything. Because if Karmelo Anthony would have passed away, that same video would have convicted you of first degree murder, because it showed premeditation and intent. But Metcalf, Hunter, you also said that you didn't see your brother get stabbed. Remember? You said that your brother, you didn't see your brother get stabbed. You know why? This is my theory. This is my theory. My theory is the reason why you didn't see your brother get stabbed, because I believe that you went behind on the other side of Carmelo Anthony. Austin was on this side of Carmelo Anthony. So when your brother pushed Carmelo Anthony went into your body. And when you pushed Carmelo Anthony back, you didn't see that Carmelo Anthony had that utility tool in his hand. And I think it was you, Hunter, that pushed Carmelo Anthony into your brother, that created that puncture wound. Look at the irony. Look at the irony. And we saw multiple people pushing Carmelo Anthony. He got pushed from the front to the back and from the side that we saw the camera on. Oh, no, no, no. Everybody, those 26 students that gave that testimony need to be re-questioned immediately. But we're going to wait. Let the lawyers, the appeal lawyer, the private attorney do exactly what I said yesterday. With this tape coming out right here, we don't want them to rush nothing. Yes, we want them to go ahead and push forward for an expedited appeal to be granted and Carmelo Anthony to get out. But regarding a retrial and the new evidence, take your time, because we don't want no technicalities. But right now, based off that video, reasonable doubt is on the table at a minimum. Reasonable doubt. Go ahead and refresh your mind on what that special prosecutor in Texas had said. And y'all, to all the mods, I should have told you this. Anybody can come in here now with the chats. I did not lock it down, so let them breathe. But if they talking about any if they saying any type of derogatory terms or racial terms, block them, get them out of here, get them out of here. But for anybody else that's not pro Carmelo Anthony, and as long as they're not saying nothing derogatory or disrespectful, let them breathe. Let them breathe. Hold on, let me go ahead and do this right here. Collin County. Once again, based off this video, you just added the racial element of this case. You found that young man guilty just based off the color of his skin. This video is the smoking gun that we needed. There we go. This is from CourtTV. At this time, I'm going to say the video is roughly about maybe a week old. But listen to what this judge, matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring Cody Thompson back up to the stage so you can hear exactly how he described this video before the video was released. So we know that this is the video that he saw, that he actually saw. We're going to turn this down right here. I've already set the stage.
Public is going by what people are saying. And there are a lot of people out there with an agenda who can describe what they believe they saw. Cody, you have no agenda other than telling us what you saw and what you observed. So why don't you describe for us what you saw when the video was played and what was testified to about that video? Because this is an important piece of evidence. And, you know, you've got people saying that it's very clear in the video what happened here.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the most important piece of evidence. It's kind of the crux of the whole case here. But the thing about this video, Vinny, and the prosecutors admitted this before it was presented while that forensic video analyst was on the stand, is that the video is not the best quality. It's, first of all, it's one of those, you know how you have the big tall light posts that light the whole stadium. It seems like it's a camera on one of those light posts on the opposite side from where everything's going down. So when it's zoomed out, it looks pretty good quality. But when you have to zoom all the way in like this on a little blip, you know you're going to lose a lot of pixelation there. Mm-hmm. It's going to be really grainy. So they zoomed in, and you know now it looks like video. You see like a center mass for the video. And then they zoom out just a tad so you can see Carmelo come up out of what's like the tunnel of the bleachers. You know, when you come up and you go sit around, he's coming from under there. You see him come in, and he stands there for a few seconds. And then he's walking towards this direction. The tent's right here. He's walking towards the tent here. He's there at the tent for around 2 minutes. Then eventually you see Austin Metcalf and his 3 or 4 friends who are walking from the middle school where they were visiting their that morning. They're walking from the opposite direction. So Carmelo's here for 2 minutes. They get there. And then the whole ordeal goes down in like 4.5 to 5 minutes.
Keep going.
But under the tent, you got to remember there's a whole team.
Here we go.
Tent. You can't see rainfall. All you see is there's people under a tent. They look like these humanoid blobs. You can tell they're human beings, but it's just a bunch of masses, right? You're not looking at who's sitting down, who's standing up, especially if they're intermixed in there. Maybe if they're at the front, you can see if they're sitting on the bleachers, but all in the crowd, you can't really see much of anything. Mm-hmm. And then what the media analyst highlights, at one point in time, you see kind of one of these darker figures. There's like a jolt, and so they're saying that was kind of like the push. And then right after that little jolt, you see Asher Memorial's team was in some dark gear because Karmelo. Then you see him run off and they spot shadow him. And then you just see a bunch of disbursement. Mm-hmm. There was no, you don't see two hands, one viables, other than there's Memorial Tent. Here's a bunch of people under there. This is what they say. It was a little jolt, what was the push, and then a bunch of disbursement. That's all you really see.
So I wanted to play that video to show you proof that this is the video that they convicted Carmelo Anthony of 12 days ago. 12 days ago. Now, before the video came out, I only had to go off of what unbiased person, because he's a media person. Cody Thompson is a media analyst, or whatever you want to call him, whatever title you want to give him. So the video that they released is exactly how he described it. And once again, Vincent, who is this gentleman here, who has the demographics of male and Caucasian white male, right? He is a prior prosecutor. He has issues with this video. So we know that we're talking about the right video, and I do believe there's another video out there. But if they want us to focus on this video, if you're just coming in the room, go back to the beginning of the video, because this video alone from yesterday shows reasonable doubt, multiple assailants, and Carmelo Anthony without premeditation and intent to do exactly what happened up there in that stadium. Now, come on with it. Come on, Vinny. Come on, Vinny.
Sometimes, and I've seen this in trial, you go through a video and you may play it for different witnesses who were there. And then they, having been there, looking at the video, can kind of describe to you what's happening. Did any of that take place to try to clarify exactly what is going on and whether or not Carmelo Anthony is surrounded, whether or not physical confrontation it's you can really tell how forceful the physical confrontation initially is.
I mean, in a very minor capacity, Vinny. I mean, you got to remember, all of these students that testified under the state said there was no sort of surrounding that was happening. It was described as, this kind of one-on-one thing. And, actually in the closing arguments, the prosecutor was saying, they're trying to say the two brothers or all these multiple people were jumping on him, but on the body cam with the video, once he was apprehended, he was saying, I told him not to put his hands on me, not I told they.
Whoa. Hey, you know why, Cody? And all the viewers that's first time hearing this, yes, Carmelo Anthony, he said, I told him not to put his hands on me. You know the reason why he didn't say I told them not to put their hands on them? Because Carmelo Anthony know that only one got assaulted by that weapon in self-defense. Because we saw the video, grainy or not, nobody with two eyes and at least a decent vision, they cannot say that they don't see a scuffle up there with multiple people. Reasonable doubt at a minimum. At a minimum. And if not, I would say throw the whole entire damn case out. Because this young man was defending himself. And in Texas, you have the right to stand your ground. You have the right. Matter of fact, you don't even have to retreat. So for people to say, why didn't Carmelo Anthony leave the tent? First of all, he don't have to take orders from nobody. And He was already there for 9 minutes sitting under that tent, and nobody had an issue with him except for those Metcalf brothers at that time and they friends when they walked directly up to him and they surrounded him like a pack of hyenas. Those thugs. That young man was sitting there minding his business, and you showed premeditation and intent to walk directly under memorial tent and surround that young man. I'm trying to tell you, come on with it. Hold on, I got more. Hold on, I got more. Come on with it. Continue to talk.
Put their hands on me. So that was a big deal in closing arguments. But there was one student that got up there who was actually on the field warming up, and so you saw an angle of a couple of kids on the field, and you saw the angle of where the tent was. And what they were trying to do there is kind of talk about how this student's timeline of when he walked over and saw the commotion just didn't add up, and kind of discredited his credibility a little bit. Yeah, that was me. You see me walking there, and then you see this push, and you see this person to the left, and they're moving up the bleachers. There was none of that real specificity, other than that one student on the field, just to show that his times weren't lining up when he said he walked over there, because they showed that he didn't walk at all when the moment of the stabbing happened.
And you are right, Black Magic 777. You're right. We and everybody else should blame the Metcalf mother for raising bullies. Since you want to talk about the Carmelo Anthony mother who raised a student, a star athlete of 2 sports, 21 scholarships, 3.7 GPA, worked 2 jobs, came from a steady household and had a bright future. And trust me, they haven't stopped his future. But you're right. If you want to blame Carmelo Anthony's mother of raising a decent and great Black man, we also should put the spotlight on the Metcalf's mother for raising those bullies that the video has shown went to Carmelo Anthony in terror. Oh, that's a hate crime, y'all. This is a hate crime because the tape shows that Collin County just convicted this young man only because of race. Only because of race. You can't make nothing out of this video except for that scuffle, those multiple people jumping on him in those blurbs, since they want to play with the videos, those blurbs. The only factor that they convicted Carmelo Anthony is his race. Even those kids that got out on the stand and committed perjury, and those police statements, contradiction. You lied on the stands? Really? Let's keep going. Come on, Cody and Vince.
Oh, so none of the witnesses who testified, right? Some people that were there didn't testify, but the ones who were called and testified that were under the tent, near the tent, all of this, none of them could specifically identify themselves in that video?
No. There was one that, because he was kind of off to the side. We're talking under the tent right now where the commotion comes up. And then there's one kid that said, you see me coming over here, but he's very isolated. You know what I mean? He had nothing really to do with the situation happening under the tent, which is, why we were here in the first place. But other than that, none of them were saying, that's me. You see me over here. You see, this is Carmelo right there. They're the Metcalf brothers. The only thing that was really identifiable was when the forensic media analyst showed Carmelo walking to the tent, and then showed the Austin Metcalf and the other boys walking to the tent. Once things got to the tent, it was just, that's a crowd of people. You can't really tell what they're doing. You can't really tell that there's violence or if it's...
So let me slow down, y'all. Hold on. Did y'all hear what Cody just said? None of the witnesses could even identify themselves in that video. You mean to tell me that the people underneath the tent couldn't even identify themselves? But yet the jury, the judge, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney, Mike Howard, who asked for an immediate sentencing after the verdict came out, you mean to tell me that they could see enough to say Carmelo Anthony needs to be charged with first-degree murder? Oh, the devil's a lie. And according to Cody Thompson, he said that the media forensics, cybersecurity, media forensics, part of CSI department, you mean to tell me that the only person that the media, y'all listen to me, listen. You mean to tell me that the media forensic person could only identify Carmelo Anthony because he jumped from under the tent and ran off? I ask again, you tell me this is the video they convicted this young man on. The media forensics personnel only could identify Carmelo Anthony because he jumped from under the tent and ran off. But none of the witnesses was even asked to point themselves out, identify themselves, and really they couldn't because you can't see nothing. But the defense attorney, going back to Mike Howard, you mean to tell me you didn't even show, and I'm going to play this part, the defense attorney didn't even ask the witnesses to point themselves. Matter of fact, Mike Howard didn't even call in question the video. Mike Howard, Carmelo Anthony's own lawyer, did not call into question the video. He didn't even call out Exhibit A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. He didn't object to nothing. And the reason why I know that the exhibits and the evidence went up there, because it was the people that was in the courtroom that said that when they brought up the tool, I think it was around exhibit 8 and 9 or 90. And Mike Howard just sit there collecting all that money and didn't even defend this young man off of this poor ass video. Is this what you convicted this young man on? But you know what? Hey, let me go ahead and calm down and get my emotions out of this. Let's see what Denny, a prior prosecutor, says about this, y'all. You don't gotta believe me. Hold one. And let me calm down, right? Oh, here go the stereotypes. I know the stereotypes about to be in the chat. Oh, the angry black woman. Oh yes. Now I'm mad as hell. I'm definitely mad as hell to find out that race was the element on how they wrongfully convicted this young man, because you can't see nothing else in the video minus Carmelo Anthony running away from his attack. Black woman now. Definitely.
We had no cameras in the courtroom. The evidence hasn't been released. So the
matter of fact, just let me play this here. Just listen.
Public is going by what people are saying. And there are a lot of people out there with an agenda on both sides who can describe what they believe they saw. Cody, you have no agenda other than telling us what you saw and what you observed. So why don't you describe for us what you saw when the video was played and what was testified to about that video? Because this is an important piece of evidence. And, you know, you've got people saying that it's very clear in the video what happened here.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the most important piece of evidence. It's kind of the crux of the whole case here. But the thing about this video, Vinny, and the prosecutors admitted this before it was presented while that forensic video analyst was on the stand, is that the video is not the best quality. It's, first of all, it's one of those, you know how a football stadium is set up and you have the big tall light post to light the whole stadium. It seems like it's a camera on one of those light posts on the opposite side from where everything's going down. So when it's zoomed out, it looks pretty good quality. But when you have to zoom all the way in like this on a little blip, you know you're gonna lose a lot of pixelation there. It's gonna be really grainy. So they zoomed in, and you know now it looks like video you see it like a 7-Eleven. It's real grainy. You can kind of make out what's going on. You can see the yellow memorial tent. But again, they admitted there's no real distinguishables here. You're not seeing facial features. You're not seeing the logos of brands on clothing. So it's just a low quality video. But you see at one point in time, you see in the bleachers, you see the yellow tent. It's kind of at the center mass of the video. and then they zoom out just a tad so you can see Karmelo come up out of it's like the tunnel that we know when you go sit around, he's coming from under there. You see him come, then he stands there for a few seconds. And then that morning, they're walking from the opposite direction. So Karmelo here for 2 minutes. They look like these humanoid blobs. You can tell they're human beings, but it's just a bunch of masses, right? You're not sitting on who's standing up, especially if they're intermixed in there. Maybe if they're at the front, you can see if they're sitting on the bleachers, but all in the crowd, you can't really see much of anything. And then what the media analyst highlights at one point in time, you see kind of one of these darker figures. There's like a jolt, and so they're saying that was kind of like the push. And then right after that little jolt, you see everyone disperse. And then, of course, they spot shadow. This was Karmelo because the other, I'm sure Memorial's team was in some dark gear because Karmelo had on a gray hoodie type situation. So he was in lighter clothing. Then you see him run off. They spot shadow him. And then you just see a bunch of, there were no, two sitting down, two people towering over. There's not really any real files other than Memorial saying the people under this, and then a bunch of disbursement. That's all you really see.
So sometimes, and I've seen this in trials, you go through a video and you may play it for different witnesses who were there. And then they, having been there, looking at the video, can kind of see what is going on and whether or not Karmelo Anthony surrounded, whether or not a physical confrontation. You can really tell how forceful the physical confrontation initially is.
In a very minor capacity, Vinny. I mean, because we got to remember, all of these students that testified under the court of described that this 10-on-1 thing. Actually. Say the two brothers or all these multiple people were jumping on him, but on the body cam with the video, once he was apprehended, he was saying, I told him not to put his hands on me, not I told they not to put their hands on me. So that was a big.
And like I said, the only reason that Karmelo Anthony said I told him not to put his hands on me because it was only one person that got injured with that utility tool, and because of adrenaline. Might remind you, he just ran away from his attackers and got out safely because his own life was on the line. So yeah, his brain probably couldn't really be clear and say I got jumped, but he did say I told him not to put his hands on me. That was a warning, not provocation. That was a warning, not provocation. And he had a right. He did a warning. And he executed everything in his ability to save his own life. Come on with it. Come on, Cody. Keep talking, Cody.
That was a big deal in the closing arguments, but there was one student that got up there who was actually on the field warming up. And so you saw an angle of, a couple of kids on the field, and you saw the angle of where the tent was. And what they were trying to do there is kind of talk about how this student's timeline of when he walked over and saw the commotion just didn't add up, and trying to kind of discredit his credibility a little bit. But no students were sitting there saying, yeah, that was me. You see me walking there, and then you see this push, and you see this person to the left, and they're moving up the bleachers. There was none of that real specificity, other than that one student on the field, just to show that his times weren't lining up when he said he walked over there, because they showed that he didn't walk at all when the moment of the stabbing happened.
So none of the witnesses testified, right? Some people didn't testify, but the ones who were called didn't testify. That were the tent, all this.
Again. But basically, you already heard that part. God dang, why I keep doing that right there? Hold on, let's go here.
So I was a little surprised when I found out that the judge from the Carmelo Anthony case granted a interview. He did an interview with WFAA, spoke about a lot of things, but there was one thing that really caught my attention. Again, this is a TV interview. We have the audio. Let's take a listen.
I've seen from other cases around the country where cameras in the courtroom changed the way that the judge acted, the lawyers acted, some of the witnesses acted, and we were.
Oh, this is about to be good.
We were going to isolate the purpose for which we were here for, which is to have that fair trial, and cameras in the courtroom did not enter into that equation at all.
Oh,
Objection. Judge arguing facts not in evidence.
hold on now. Listen to what Vince just said. Vince was a prior prosecutor. This man on the screen is a prior prosecutor. Listen to what he said regarding Judge Roach justification for not having cameras in the courtroom. Listen to what he's about to say.
You know, if you're a judge and it was in your courtroom and it changes the way you judge, that's your problem. That's not the problem with transparency. That's a problem with the judge. If a lawyer does anything other than try their case because a camera's in there, that's their problem. That's their mistake. That's their inability to be professional. But I'm surprised. A couple of judge went to my dad. We're going to talk about that like that. But he gave an interview about a case that just ended. Like, just ended. Is this normal?
Y'all already saw this right here. Y'all already saw this right here. Y'all already saw this right here. But I want to get to what this special prosecutor in Texas said about Carmelo Anthony's lawyer, the video, and actually how the jury should have acted. And this man is white. He's a white special prosecutor in Texas by the name of Brian Wyse. Y'all, come on, y'all. Y'all gonna get your notes, your drink, and your vest. Listen to what this man just said over here at Tony Talks Vested Up Compelling Sports Edge. Come on to the stage, Judge. I'm sorry, special prosecutor.
Sentenced to 35 years. You probably want to see if you can get a new trial, a second look, a second chance at all this. So, you're an expert as Texas law. You're on speed dial. I don't know if I still have speed dial, but if I still had speed dial, you'd be on it. Again. Let me start with the first issue that I was shocked by. And again, I didn't get to actually see the testimony because the judge did not allow us to see it. But the reporting is that each witness, I would finish their testimony by saying this was not self-defense. Is that okay? Because I thought that's what the trial was about. And I thought that was the question that the jury had to answer, whether or not it was self-defense. Can lay witnesses in their testimony tell the jury in their own opinion that it was not self-defense?
The short answer is supposed to. and this is one of the bodies, if you will, about the justice system. The only kind of criminal case where a lay person can give the ultimate opinion as to guilt or innocence is, of all things, a DWI case, or DUI, as they say in some states, because everybody knows what intoxication is. Self-defense is a question of law that ultimately the jury decides based on the facts. Now, a witness testified, I don't think you should be able to answer a shove with a stab like Bill Worski so ably argued. Or you could say that I believe that Carmelo Anthony had an opportunity to retreat. Lay witnesses, if you will, were permitted to testify to the ultimate legal conclusion. That's an issue. But it's interesting because I thought the issue that I thought you were going to lead with is the Baston claim.
Ooh.
Oh, all right.
Yo, listen to what this white judge, special prosecutor, appellate judge, right, is going to say about the jury in the Carmelo Anthony's case. Not me, because I'm not a lawyer, But let's see what an expert says, someone that practiced law and has been practicing law over 40 years. Let's hear what he says. Come with it.
I know you want to go there. But let's just start here. Is that a big deal? The fact that the witnesses said this was not self-defense. 0 to 10, just give it a number. How big of a deal it is?
On its own, on the merits, it could be a 7. But if I could just kind of throw something in that I think your viewers would want to know about the appellate process. Appellate courts don't sit to review questions of guilt or innocence. They review whether or not the trial was fundamentally fair based on, and that's because we recruit all the participants, the judge, the prosecutor, the defense lawyer, the witnesses, the cops from the human race, which means there's going to be human error. And so there are going to be mistakes. And because the Constitution doesn't entitle you, not even in New Jersey, to a perfect trial, you're entitled to a fair one. So to be clarified,
Playing.
no mistake, what we call error, ERROR. An appellate court could find that based on the allegedly overwhelming evidence that it didn't impact the outcome of the proceeding. But again, that's a potential issue. Make no mistake.
Yeah, I thought it was a big issue because it wasn't just one witness. It was like witness after witness after witness. So let's get to what you thought my lead was going to be. And I was debating between the two. The fact that there were no black jurors.
And once again, since y'all saying that black Americans is making this thing about race, who do you see on the screen? Vinny is a prior, and Brian Wyse, right? Special prosecutor appellate lawyer. They both white men. Let's continue to hear what they say.
And you talked about badges. Let's talk about that. What's going on there? Is that a real issue case at the appellate level?
That is, as we say in journalism, that's the that you don't want to bury. And I know that enough of your viewers have probably binge watched Law and Order or seen you on the air talking about what Batson is. But Batson comes from, I believe, a 1984 Supreme Court case called Batson versus Kentucky. And it has been modified over the years, that essentially says that while a prosecutor can exercise as many challenges for cause as he or she has been to follow, they can only exercise their peremptory challenges for reasons that are not related to race.
Listen.
For any racial reason or for any racial pretext. So what, in essence, this case presents, as I understand it, because again, I followed it, but I followed it on, this device right here, is that there were 3 black potential jurors, what we call veneer members in Texas, who were struck by the prosecutor peremptorily, meaning for no reason at all, is based on their 10 that both sides get in Texas in a felony. And once the defendant, in this case, Mr. Anthony and Mr. Anthony's lawyers, make what we call a prima facie case, judge, on the record outside the jury's presence, now that the jury's seated, I want to note for the record there are no African-American jurors. Right. And I want the court to note for the record that the prosecutor exercised X number of challenges on black jurors. At that point, the court will say, fine, the defendant has made a prima facie case. Mr. Worski, I want you to tell the court for the record why you struck those black jurors. My understanding is that they were struck because I think they were not necessarily teachers, but educators who might have felt sympathy for a 17-year-old kid if they're around 17-year-old kids all the time. Now, once that happens, the prosecution has initially rebutted that claim that you used your challenges improperly. It's then incumbent upon the defense attorney, and this is where it's tricky. You have to show that potential jurors, veneer members, who were similarly situated to these 3 black educators who were struck, were not struck, and they were white. So my understanding is that there were white veneer members who may have been teachers or educators who were not struck. If that's the only reason, I love that issue.
That's a home run, right? So you have black teachers, white teachers. Prosecutors get rid of the black teachers, but don't get rid of the white teachers. And then all of a sudden, their reasoning for getting rid of the potential black jurors kind of falls by the wayside because you didn't. Everything else is the same.
Exactly.
The fact of what the color of their skin is.
Right. And the word that we use, you use the legal expression falling apart, which I like. It's called a pretext. That basically this is, BS. And I have one back.
All right, 0 to 10, give me a number because I have one more issue I want to get to.
8 or 9.
Okay,
so this appellate attorney in Texas used to be a special prosecutor. I think he has many different titles. You mean to tell me, based on what you just hear, and here's his face, his name is Brian Wyse in the red tie. You mean to tell me that Mr. Wyse just stated, just off the Baston claim, when Collin County struck down those black teachers, that's a home run for the appeal? What? Y'all, sometimes you have to go to these type of channels and pick up all the nuggets in the world. And some of them are fair. I have never said that all white lawyers are bad, and I have never said all black lawyers are good. That's why you have to vet your lawyers or whoever, especially when you put them on a retainer for times like this. Oh my gosh. But guess what? He's going to say some more stuff for the haters and the racists in the rooms. This light work. This is light work. You know what, y'all? The Shador Sanders haters, I've been fighting the Shador Sanders haters for 8 months. And they come up with more, how can I say it? More drafted, better drafted comments than the racists in the rooms. That's why I said the racists today and this week and last week's are light work. God dang, this easy. This easy.
That's a big one. All right, the final one. Everyone talks about this all the time.
Here we go.
I know some lawyers don't like it. Ineffective assistance of counsel.
I knew. Look at you. My dad used to say when I would answer a question, he didn't think I could answer. I don't know anything. Well, Vinny Kamazov stuff. I thought it was beyond your keys. We say, as an appellate lawyer and post-conviction lawyer, or a bunch of ineffective assistance, motions for new trial, direct appeals, and post-conviction writs, including a death penalty case that I won 20 years ago in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Let me tell you what the problem is that lawyers like me who involve themselves in ineffective assistance cases are basically like internal affairs, like the shoe flies, the rat squad. Why? Because what you're doing is you're claiming that defense attorneys are morons, prosecutors are cheaters,
right,
and judges are ignoramuses. And as you can tell, I can tell by that Jersey smirk, it's going to make you a widely popular guy. You're going to be as popular as P. Diddy. And so it's a very touchy subject, particularly 1, high-profile case, 2, racial element, 3, I don't know about the lead lawyer, this guy named Mike Howard, who we can talk about in a minute, but second chair counsel is a guy who I know, who I've lectured with, who I put on CLEs, a guy named Toby Shook. And when he was a prosecutor in the Dallas County DA's office, he was a legend. He was a cult figure. And one of the, it's a small world after all, sound bites from this trial is that he and Bill Werski go back forever. Ineffective assistance is that Karmelo Anthony's lawyer will have.
Did not prepare for the punishment.
Oh my God!
Presented no case.
Golf clap. You're absolutely.
So I got it right. Hit it out of the park.
Right. Hit it in the Crawford boxes. No question. And Yeah, I think anybody who, again, wasn't in the courtroom but followed the case knew that. My understanding is that they called mom, asked her a couple of questions, and then said, thanks for being on the show. I have been successful.
Listen, StreamYard is very unstable today for some reason. Maybe because so many content creators are doing lives today. So I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to get back to some of my talking points. But if you want to go watch video with Cody, all this is to CourtTV, and then I'm going to show you what the thumbnail looks like. Go to CourtTV and watch the whole entire thing. It is so good. It was actually 10 days ago, and here is the thumbnail. Track meet tragedy a 10 ago. Brian Wyse dropped so much information in there. Basically, he is spelled it out. So hopefully Karmelo's court-appointed appellate lawyer and the family's private attorney already knows exactly what Brian Wyse was laying down in his video. There is even before this video, mind you, that this video came out for CourtTV over 10 days ago. This is before the video. The video itself, if you strike down everything or forget all what these two gentlemen just stated, right? The video alone is reasonable doubt. And I want to remind everybody, this is 2026. What school, what person would I buy cameras, security cameras, and install those security cameras with footage like that? The answer is hell no. That video is so distorted, you can't even make out what's under that tent. But this is where they messed up. They had to distort it in attempt to make Karmelo Anthony look guilty, but they couldn't distort it all the way because you wouldn't see nothing. So they distorted it in a way where you can only see bodies. And in that, it was a piece of evidence that they couldn't distort, where that altercation had transpired, and you see Karmelo Anthony getting pushed from the front to the back and the side before he jots up into those stands. Nobody, listen, nobody can't dispute what happened under that tent unless they don't want to see it and they don't want to know, because you have to, there is a cause and effect. What made Karmelo Anthony jump out of that tent? We saw multiple bodies pushed from the front to the back and to the side. And like I said, I'm going to say it again. Wouldn't it be ironic that Hunter Metcalf and Austin Metcalf had sandwiched Karmelo Anthony between themselves? Austin pushes Karmelo into Hunter. Hunter, once he said this, I didn't see the knife. That means that if you didn't see the knife, that means that Karmelo Anthony's back was to you. And when you pushed him towards your brother, because y'all really thought that y'all was about to double team that young man out in them stands, when you pushed your brother. If you was the one that pushed him into Austin, it was your push and your power and your weight that pushed Karmelo Anthony into your brother with that utility tool. Everybody, a moment of silence. If Hunter and Austin double team Karmelo Anthony up in those bleachers, and Austin pushed Karmelo into his brother Hunter, it was Hunter that pushed Karmelo until his brother's Austin chest. Because as Hunter said, he didn't see the knife. That means that Karmelo Anthony was in front of Hunter. But that's just my opinion, right? You know why? I can come up with that theory to all the haters in the room. Do you know why I can come up with that theory on my own? Because Collin County, I'm going to say allegedly, right, distorted the video so bad, we can't make out what's going on behind the tent. But the 50 people that saw that video, they said it was crystal clear. And it didn't take, and then also, you know what? I think the reason one under that fence, a tent, I think they didn't Wyse video that way to make it seem like, it only took, 4 to 5 minutes before the altercation happened. When 50 other people said that the altercation, it took very fast, 20 to 30 seconds. I think they extended and spliced that video underneath that tent to make it seem like the fight didn't happen that quick. And you know why they all had to do it? Because they tried to give reason of doubt that the boys could have just talking Karmelo Anthony. And then Karmelo Anthony, started getting boastful and aggressive. See, that's why they probably added that additional time in that video. And guess what? As a U.S. citizen, I have been a juror, and I may be on a particular jury in the future. I'm not in Texas, though. Thank God I'm not in Texas. But as a juror, based off that, as a United States citizen, if I was on that stand, there is no way that I could have rendered a guilty verdict because the video is that bad. There is no way no juror should have rendered a guilty verdict because you can't even see what caused the defense wound. I'm sorry, the self-defense. I'm sorry. Hey, let me get my words right. You can't see the video. But they distorted that part of the video. But you know what? They messed up because they should have also distorted the Metcalf brothers and their friends walking from that sidewalk with intention and premeditation of thoughts into that tent. You distorted one to frame Karmelo Anthony, but you didn't distort the rest of the video to remove reasonable doubt and to remove the proof that it was the Metcalf brothers and friends. Let's not forget the friends, because it was multiple assailants. Let's not forget the friends. We got proof that those boys, that gang of 6 had intention and was premeditated to do whatever they needed to do because they went directly for that tent. Went under that tent. And even if you want us to believe that it took 4 minutes, they ganged up on that young man. They jumped that young man. Multiple people was pushing that young man. And Hunter Metcalf said, I didn't see the knife. My theory is because he was behind Austin Metcalf and they were attempting to jump that young man, and he didn't see that he didn't see that Karmelo Anthony had something in his hands. Or whoever it was, the friends, whoever pushed Karmelo Anthony into Austin did not see that he had a weapon of his choice to defend himself in his hands that went into Austin's chest. These facts cannot be ignored. We can not also ignore the police footage that was released. Let's not forget this. When Karmelo Anthony was approached by the police, he was not hostile. He was not aggressive. All he said was, I told them not to put his hands on me. And it was in self-defense. He was calm. He was clear. He was not belligerent. He didn't say, get your hands off of me. He didn't say none of that. He didn't even seem like he was under the influence of nothing. He seemed like that young man that he was. A great child and an upstanding citizen and a star athlete and a scholar student. He spoke clear. He had a clear frame of mind, and he was telling the police he shouldn't have put his hands on me. And it was self-defense. Right then, by Texas law, everybody involved under that tent should have been escorted. I don't care if they had to put everybody on a bus and escort that whole entire bus to the police station or the Texas Ranger station. Everybody, all those witnesses should have went down to that courthouse or that sheriff station, police station, whatever it's called in Texas, got in separate rooms, and they should have had every detective come in there and question each student one by one. But it's okay. They didn't do their job that day, but that's okay. And y'all, let's not forget this, and I don't want to forget this. Did y'all see the hoodie that Karmelo Anthony got arrested in? Did you see the hoodie that Karmelo Anthony got arrested in? Karmelo Anthony got arrested in a hoodie that said Essentials. And at the bottom of Essentials, it says fear of God. Karmelo Anthony hoodie said Essentials, fear of God. And I don't care what the American justice system has looked like in the past. We are standing up, starting with this case. We are not going to continue to let the injustice fall out against our community, which is the Black community. And I'm going to say, as a Black American veteran, if the Asian communities got a hate crime, the Black community definitely needs our own separate hate crime. I don't care what the past has held. We're going to stand up. We're not going to continue to let these injustices run rampant in our communities. We're not going to continue to let the law protect them and it goes against us. We're not going to continue to let the law, when we are citizens, let them kill out the Black men and the white men and the Black children of this nation. Even our good Black children, our good Black men, our good Black women. We are tired of this. We are tired of the injustices. As a veteran, I didn't fight for this, America. I didn't fight for this. I didn't fight for this, America. I didn't fight for this. I didn't fight for this. That means, America, if you stand by and you let this happen to Karmelo Anthony, that means they can take someone like me down or you down. Anybody that has done right by this country. You stand by and you let them take the good ones. Well, America, let me tell you one thing, federal government, you know who I am. If you let them take down Carmelo Anthony, how would it feel if I'm doing what I'm doing in my yard, walking on a trail, reading a book, and they take me down? How would you feel, federal government? I'm talking to you. We are crying. We have been crying in the streets. We have been crying on social media. We are trying to get your attention. We are trying to get your attention. Federal government, they are killing us just because of our skin. They are killing us because of our skin color. Where is the hate cry for Black America? I don't care what the racists are saying in the chats. We're not talking to you. Federal government, you know who I am. Look up my name. Run facial. If you run facial recognition, you got my name. You got my social. You know I've done everything right in life, like millions and millions and millions of Black Americans in this country. What if they continue to gun us down? Will you continue to stand by and don't hear our cry? Will you continue to stand by? You know who I am, federal government. And you know I've done nothing wrong. Will you let that happen? Will you let that happen? Let me tell you one thing, y'all. I understand that they have been some misconceptions about jury duty and registering to vote. Registering to vote is not just for a candidate going into the United States president office. As a voter, you vote your Senate, your House of Representatives, and you also vote in your local representatives. If you're in Texas, California, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Illinois, please make sure, and even if you don't want to vote on a ticket, just register to vote so your name and demographics is collected in somebody's database for any future jury selection. Jury selection. Do you see what Collin County did? Because they said that it's only 10% Blacks in their county. And they actually polled Black juries and they struck them down. Well, let me tell you one thing. They can't strike all of us down. Everybody need to register. Make sure you get out with your proper ID and register. Like I said, even if you don't want to vote, at least register to vote so you can be in somebody's voting database to get called for jury duty as a time like this. And you may say, well, I can't do nothing. No. Let me clear this up. And I'm not a politician. I'm just like you behind this camera. I'm just a regular citizen that has served on jury duty. I have fought for this country and I love this country. Let's not take nothing what I'm saying out of context. I love this country, but I don't want to get killed by this country just because of my skin. Let me tell you the power of being on a jury. As a defendant, just like Carmelo Anthony, if you get charged with anything, you have the right trial by jury or trial by judge. And if a defendant says, I want a trial by jury, by law, they have to poll voter registrations. If you never registered to vote, you will never show up on that list. Please, if you don't want to vote in any elections, fill out the voter registration. Just so if a time like this comes up, there is people in that jury box that's going to look at all of the evidence, not the skin of the defendant, but look at the evidence. Consider the evidence and scrutinize the evidence. That is your responsibility of a juror. And you mean to tell me 12 grown people over the age of 18 looked at that same footage and said, guilty? At a minimum, that video opens up doubt. At a minimum, doubt. Before the video, the Baston claim rule, ineffective assistance from defense counsel, Mike Howard. What is your conscience telling you 24 hours of the day? Knowing what you did to that young man. And now we know because of that video, the race element is as strong as ever. They convicted him because he was black. They convicted him because he was black. There's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say. And I also want to say this. If you have been compelled to go out and complete your voter registration, even just to sit on a jury, make sure you has the proper ID. It must be a true ID with a star on it. Please, I don't know whatever state you in, but make sure you go ahead and look at what a true state ID is. Because when it comes to November in Texas, and shout out to Lakeisha Keisha and the public opinion court, that black female lawyer that was on there the other night. In November in Texas, there are going to be 3 open seats. 3 open seats for the Texas Court of Appeals. Please do the right thing. Please do the right thing. Because I'm assuming, I haven't looked this up, but I'm pretty sure the Karmelo Anthony appeal and all appeals is going to go through that court. Texas Court of Appeals. What if you was in Karmelo Anthony's shoes and that appeal, that notice of appeal had your name on it? You would want somebody to consider everything. Everything. I'm going to leave it like that. But that video was distorted on purpose. If not, that high school, whatever high school that is, you need to upgrade your security protecting school grounds. And if your video is looking like that, how can you protect the students at that high school with footage like that? Let's talk to the school. If that is your security footage, what are you doing in 2026 when you're in one of the most wealthiest counties in Texas? You got security footage of that magnitude on your post, and you're in Frisco County, And you mean to tell me you don't have enough money to put 4K, 5K, 6K? You mean to tell me that Frisco County don't have enough money to put in proper video cameras that show crystal clear? I refuse to believe that, because they are wealthy. I refuse that. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that Frisco provided them this distorted footage. I refuse to believe it. Not in 2026, not in not even in 1990. Not that. So I rest my case. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, and definitely self-defense. Easy. Without even making out the bodies, easy. And thank you, Media Forensics, because you did circle Carmelo Anthony. So we was able to see exactly where he jolted from. You did do that. I will say that you did do that. So yeah, we saw enough. We saw enough. Reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt. Expedite the appeal process. Get Carmelo Anthony out there, out of jail next week. This video has opened up so many questions that must be answered. And to the federal government, I'm asking you, please intervene and make sure everything is followed by the law. Dot every I, cross every T. I'm asking you, as a U.S. citizen, intervene. Intervene. And me personally, I think they have behind the scenes, because that tape was released. We put pressure on them, but it took somebody higher for the Texas Attorney General, Kenneth Paxton, to release that video. It took somebody higher than him. So to whoever that is, thank you for even considering making that happen. All right, Vestas. All right, Vestas. Woo! I'm surprised StreamYard has finished acting up. Whew. Thank you so much for everybody's time and attention. Hold on, I saw something. I wish I could go through all of these chats, and I thank you so much. I really thank you so much. I'm just going to start randomly clicking on the chats, because I definitely appreciate this. And to the viewer, thank you so much. I don't even know where you provided this love gift. Thank you so much. Whoa. And to the DA, Greg Willis. He is married to Jill Willis, the judge who presided over the Metcalf divorce case with the twins. He was supposed to recuse himself. That part I do know. Serious conflict. That part I do know that. Keep up the great work. I do know that. So, so let me say something here, and I thank you so much for all the love and support. Because I am behind the scenes, wink, wink. There are certain things I can't do, right? My focus is going to stay on Carmelo Anthony. Thank you for the information, though. Definitely thank you for the information, though. But because of who I am behind the scenes, there are certain paths that I won't go, and I can't go. Hint, hint. Okay, but I'm definitely going to come on here every day and fight for Carmelo Anthony. Hold on. Now I can't do it, right? But let me go ahead and put this on the screen for any content creator that's in here. And wow, y'all, wow, the comments. I tell you what, Okay, I have not been on here 2 hours. I have not been on here 2 hours. So let me go ahead and give you love. Everybody love that has given me love. I'm looking for your super chat now. So I can put it up on here. Here we go. Let me go and do this right here. Here we go. Like I said, I can't do that because truthfully of who I am behind the scenes. So I'm going to keep Carmelo Anthony and my focus is going to be here. But for any other content creator in the room, you could take this information and hey, it's just information. But me, myself, and I personally cannot go out in these different avenues because who I am behind the scenes. I'm going to stay right here for Carmelo Anthony. But to the content creators, this is what the comment that was in my chat. So take notes. Take notes. So I can't go through all of them. So here we go right here. Preach. Right on the money, Tony. Go to law school and become. I can't do that. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. Thank you so much, Lady E. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. Hold on. Was there another video? I do want to play the Carmelo Anthony, the public, and for all the haters and racists in the room. Let's go ahead. I want to play the police body cam footage. And hear how this young man was. Here you go.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me. Hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
Let me play that one more time. Does that sound like somebody that premeditated and had an intentions of murdering? Let's hear Carmelo Anthony's in his own words, since he did not take the stands. Defense attorney Mike Howard, you could have used this as evidence to show that Carmelo Anthony did not deserve a first-degree charge. Come on, Carmelo Anthony. This is the voice. This is the first time I've heard this young man's voice. Come on to the stage, Carmelo Anthony. What happened again, Carmelo Anthony? He even asked, was he going to be okay last time? Hear Carmelo Anthony in his own voice. They convicted that young man off of that grainy ass video. Nothing. Those twins was, yes, the devil. Yes. Right. I even follow video games in the state where I am. And I could be home and watch a remote video and see the player's eyes on the field. And you mean to tell me Frisco County, one of the wealthiest counties in Texas, don't have enough money or better security cameras than that? The devil is a lie. That footage was that's a tampering with evidence. Hint, hint. That's distorting. That's fabrication. That's misleading editing. That is even selective editing. Mistrial. I want to hear that Carmelo Anthony is out. Mistrial. Yes, I could tell the distorted in the clip video. It was either glitching under the tent. Yes, I think they sliced up that video to add more time, because guess what? If they didn't add more time under the fence, that means we would have saw the boys walk up with a purpose, go up in that tent, 30 seconds. No. They had to slice up that video and make it seem like it was 4 minutes under the tent. But people that actually saw it before it got suppressed and released, suppressed and sealed, they said it was 20 to 30 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds. Yes, thank you so much for your donation and your love. Thank you so much. Yes, these raised the demon spawns. No wonder they are. Oh God. Thank you, Yep. Let's keep going. The jury already had their verdict before the trial. You're right, Slim 081, and thank you so much for being original Vesta. Even though I pivot from Shador Sanders and the injustice that he received from the NFL, thank you so much for being with me and supporting me while I handle this case, because I'm double vested up over here. No worries, Aisha, the best in engage. You good. Trust me. We're not perfect. There was a leak footage with Megan Metcalf on the video calling and having her supporters go after people that listen. Let me tell you one thing. What is wrong with these people? I actually got proof that when Carmelo Anthony last year, she contacted the school and wanted his school to deny him from graduating. I said, what mother, after 45 days or less after bearing your son, you're worrying about Carmelo Anthony getting his degree, his high school diploma? I said, I said, no. Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you. Yes, keep in mind all the other witnesses that had come out to see the real. Right. Don't forget Miss Daisy. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Don't forget Miss Daisy, because matter of fact, this is what I was going to bring up with No Captivity, Freezy, when she gave her account of the video. Here we go. Let me see if it's this one right here.
It's myself and the administrator from Frisco ISD.
Okay. Go ahead.
So from there, we walked up to the front of the room, and she pointed at the television, and she proceeded to instruct me. You can see the video 2 minutes prior to the incident or 11 minutes prior. She said everybody was watching it at the 2 minutes mark before, and I said, no, I would like to see as far back as I could. So remind everyone, the incident had happened around 9:54 Central Standard Time on April 2nd, 2025. So 11 minutes prior to that would be 9:43 Central Standard Time. So that is the time that I had chose to start the video. So I want to make that's clear. I think a few people get confused there. So I started it there. She also proceeded to tell me, hey, this is the timestamp. The timestamp is going to be at the bottom right. There's also another kind of rolling timestamp as well, but that actual time is at the bottom right. In the top left of the corner, you could see the canopy, which was the memorial canopy. And I want to remind everybody, it was half cut off. So we were viewing from the home stadium off.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me address this right here. And he failed to prove on defense that he feared for. Oh yes, you're right. The lawyer did. Okay, I thought you said something else. Gotcha.
The away side. And so that half of the canopy was cut off. We couldn't see anything from that left, so we could only see half to the right of the field. So I was able to familiarize myself, remind you I had 11 minutes prior to the incident. And I knew from the interviews of what Hunter had did that they were coming from the middle school. So prior to entering, I also looked, before I even got there the day before, I looked at Google Maps, right? What does the stadium look like? Where is the middle school? Where is the athletic building? Just so I could kind of know where they would be coming from. So around 9:49 at that timestamp in the morning, I had looked to my far right of the corner, and what I believed was the four boys walking in, going off of Hunter's, testament of myself, my brother, and a couple of friends were walking from the middle school. So I saw them walk in. They arrived up on the bleachers, and I want to remind everyone, the bleachers are, they're metal bleachers, and then as you walk up into it, it's a metal walking path. So they, in my opinion, as I like to always put it, they were walking with a purpose. They were not walking nonchalantly to go sit down at a track meet. Did you have a question, Freezy, or do you want me to continue?
So now, just let me set the stage and then I'm gonna continue to play. She actually saw the actual video from Frisco ISD before it got sealed and suppressed by the Texas Attorney General. So this is why I'm playing her account. She actually saw the 4K. She's even said it could be either 5K or 6K. That's how clear it is. So I'm just setting the stage. Okay. Now before I do regarding this right here, I don't think Mike Howard didn't care. He just didn't care. He didn't want to do his job. He could have asked for forensics and anything. He could have even asked who fingerprints was on the weapon. He didn't do nothing. That's why he didn't care. Mike Howard didn't care. His only job was to play the part of a lawyer, because if you don't know, it was Mike Howard directly after the verdict was rendered. He stood up and asked for immediate sentencing. Mike Howard didn't care. His only job was to play a part of a defense lawyer and get it done quick, and request immediate sentencing for Karmelo Anthony. That's why he didn't care. Come on with it.
When you seen how many boys was it?
Yes, I identified 4 boys walking up into the group of the canopy.
Okay, and you said they weren't walking in a nonchalant manner. You said they were walking briskly. I played a video, a TikTok video, and I think you said something. It was almost like predator versus prey was your direct quote, right?
I did, Frizzy. So my exact quote was the walking with intent, as if it was almost predator versus prey. And the rest of my story will kind of attest to the reasons why and everything. And I want to remind everybody, it was raining. I could see raindrops. The video was crystal clear. I've always said it was 4K, if not 5K at best. So the video I had seen, imagine it's like an NFL football game, just it's on a smaller screen.
So let's put a pin in that right there. I have a video I'm going to play after you give your account, and later on in my show, where there's a reporter that works for CourtTV. I think his name is Cody, something, black guy. He actually said he's seen the video in court, and he said that you couldn't see any raindrops, and the people, you could barely make out people who were very blurry. He said you couldn't see any rain or anything. So he said, if anybody said they seen raindrops or that, no, that's not true. You couldn't see any raindrops. You're telling us that you could. The video was that clear where you could see droplings and raindrops and all that kind of stuff. That's what you're telling this audience.
Yes. So when I started the video at the 11 minutes before, so at that 9:43 mark, it was a heavy drizzle, is like I like to put it. It wasn't like a downpour. It does get into a downpour later, but it was a constant drizzle. You could see people popping their umbrellas up, taking them down. I could see people in ponchos. I saw puddles on the track as well. So it was very visible that it was raining, and it wasn't, a bright sunny day either. And I also will say, when people say you can't see faces, no, when we all put in our request, we understood that the video needed to be redacted. And redacted means if it is a video, you cannot see the minors' faces. So they did not blur it out, but it is, far enough to where you cannot physically identify somebody. The only identifiers that we have is going off of who we know was involved in the incident. And, the video shows you kind of basically
basically all of the other students under the tent, they kind of wanted to protect those students, right?
Yes, that is exactly correct.
I can understand that redacting the student's face, but not the body. But not the body. Hold on. What did she say next? What did she say?
Okay. So
where we left off was the four boys was walking briskly as if it was predator versus prey towards. Go ahead.
Yes. So as they were walking up on the bleachers, they walked up the steps and instantly went from a verbal to a physical altercation very quickly, and you could tell. The reason why I say they did not sit down is because anybody can tell elevation. You can tell from, I'm watching them walk up, I'm seeing that they're standing, and if they were to sit, I can tell that head had moved down. I was not able to see anything from those four boys. They had surrounded him, and you could see arm movements, as if someone might have been pointing like, hey, get out of here. You could also see, what I like in a group surrounded by one person touching you. That is how I define it, because you could never know who's going to jump in at the same time. So from there, you could see Karmelo pop up and out of the tent.
Okay, wait, repeat that because we just got a super chat. It was a sound effect. You said from that point, before you go there, I noticed you said they was punching the individual. I noticed you used jumped. What did you mean by that?
So that's the terminology that I use.
Listen.
And I can repeat it for everybody, is jumping, and this is my definition, right? I could be completely incorrect, but where it is one individual is facing multiple that beating that individual, right? So if it is one person touching him at a time, you don't know if those other individuals could potentially jump in. There's the key term.
So in the video that they showed in court, a couple of people told me, because they attended the actual trial inside the courtroom, they said the video that the courtroom with them is one person walking towards them.
Listen.
Four.
The video I saw had four.
One person walking up towards Karmelo, just one, not four.
Video I saw. So from there, you could see arm movements. Again, it's clear, and you could see kind of like elbows moving back and forth. And as I had said, you would noticed a head pop up and back. I'm assuming it's Karmelo because of the next moves that happened next.
Listen.
Once he was pulled back into the canopy, he immediately scattered back up those bleacher steps. And it was about 3 to 4 bleacher steps. He paused, looked to his left, to look to his right, and he took to his left, which would have been my right, staring at him, running down those steps. As he reaches the bottom of those metal bleachers, trips and up right back on my right. I told you that no one had moved from the canopy outside of these four individuals. Karmelo and the 3 chasing. Frights my eyes direct, and I see Austin reaching the last couple of steps. And that is where he is. Color falls right to my left. Or to that way. I did see somebody in a blue hoodie, I'm assuming, of the body, right? And then from there, minutes had passed and officers have arrived in ambulances. So I don't have to go into much more until after that.
Facts.
Miss Daisy.
Thank you.
one thing you said that I noticed, that every other person that's seen the video that has been on my show said that they noticed Karmelo himself or get away, but he got pulled back in. I noticed you said that too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that from your account, when you watched it, it seemed as though Karmelo was trying to remove himself before he got pulled back in?
That is correct. From what I had seen on the video, and has it escape, or it could have been a push, a punch, a grab that at the same time as he was trying to flee. You know, I mean, it was so much movement that happened so quickly, and all I can see is the backs of these individuals. And I've always said, it was calm where they walked up. He was sitting there, minding his own business. There was not an issue, and you could tell until those individuals walked up.
Facts.
From just a synopsis.
She saw a crystal clear video. We saw a distorted video. Everything that she said, because No Captivity with Frenchie did this video interview with her, I'm going to say about, let's say 5 days ago. Everything that she described in that video, despite the distorted pixels, everything that we saw, she just described 5 days ago. So why did they distort the fight under the tent? You know why? It would have proved self-defense. So investors and viewers, thank you. I wanted to address one comment in the room. If I can't find it, hold on. There you go. I'm not gonna put your comment on the screen, but I found you. Ma, you are hilarious. Yes. Again, I want to address that without giving your comment shine on my channel. That is true. 25 witnesses said the same thing. And to your post, 8 were black young men. I'm gonna say this here. They committed perjury. 25 stated that Karmelo Anthony was the aggressor. 25 witnesses, including, if this is true, 8 young black men, stated that Karmelo was in. There was 25 witnesses, and if this is correct, 8 young black men that stated that Karmelo Anthony committed murder versus self-defense. 26, just proof alone, we know that they falsified affidavits, police records, and committed perjury on the stand. I rest my case. Collin County, thank you. Even though the video was distorted, I rest my case. Reasonable doubt, appeal, mistrial. Matter of fact, this doesn't out on the street. Appeal, expeditious, but to the state of texting all of those 25 witnesses up, calling them in for questioning based off this video. Some people have something to answer, and I'm gonna leave it like that. Do your job, Texas. So this StreamYard has been stable. I don't want to push it, but thank you so much for all of your love. Thank you. Thank you for all of your time and attention today regarding serious injustice against this young man. Oh, I want to highlight this right here. Let me go and take this comment off the screen. This thumbnail is on purpose. And anybody that follows me know that I do my thumbnails on purpose. The middle screen, after he was defending himself on that stand, the middle picture, which a lot of people have said was doctored. But no. Actually, no. This particular picture here, I want y'all to focus on the left side of his face. Focus on the left side of his face. Is that bruising or swelling on his face? Well, I tell you what, let's go to the colored pictures, right? Let me go and take the banner off because all of this was for educational purposes only. Look at Karmelo's face here in the colored pictures. Look at his eye. So they want us to believe that Austin Metcalf tapped him on the shoulder and asked him to move, and Karmelo Anthony went crazy and just started slashing and slinging. So where did he get the bruises from? If they want us to believe that account that Austin Metcalf asked him to move, tapped them, whatever the case may be, and Karmelo Anthony went into a rage, went crazy, stabbed him, and ran down the bleachers. So where did the marks come from on his face? Where did the marks come from? Look at the bottom colored picture. Look at the bruising and the swelling and the inflammation around the bottom of his lip. Once again, if Austin Metcalf and his family, his friends only requested Karmelo Anthony to move from under the tent, where did swelling and where did the bruises come from? And go back to the pictures, and I'm gonna let you go. Karmelo Anthony, when he was arrested in that jersey and it said essentials and fear of God, he was actually in a track suit. Now, Hunter, whoever was walking in the fence with the other two boys, there's Hunter or Austin and the other two boys, I'm going to raise this question to y'all viewers, investors. What were they doing under the tent? Because when they walked out of that gate and down that down the stadium, why wasn't they in a track uniform? I thought the track was only for track students. So where was Austin's, Hunter's, and the other two friends track uniform? Because Karmelo Anthony, being centennial or not, memorial or not, he was in a track uniform. Yo, there is some questions. But I'm gonna leave it like that because I'm not gonna do the state of Texas job. But as a potential juror, and this is what I want to say, just been a regular old United States citizen, a registered voter. If I was on this jury, I'd be like, well, okay, first of all, prosecutor, why are you showing me this distorted video? I can't convict. I can't see what's going on. And what started the fight? Prosecutor, judge, hung jury. I cannot send nobody, white or black, to jail if you're gonna send me this type of footage in 2026. What? But y'all, listen, we're gonna keep pushing, okay? It is the weekend, but I'm gonna continue to watch and support other podcasters' content just in case they come up and other evidence is provided on those channels. I'll be back tonight. If not, I'll be back tomorrow. I don't care if it's a weekend. I don't care if it's a holiday. I'm going to be here until Karmelo Anthony is out on appeal and plus a mistrial. Reasonable doubt, self-defense, not guilty. reasonable doubt, not guilty, self-defense. However you want to slice it. Oh my gosh, I did not mean to say that word. I really didn't mean to say that word. So Vesters and viewers, thank you so much for coming over here supporting Tony Talks Vested Up. Until next time, make sure you get your notes, your drink, and your vest, because we stay vested up over here 365 degrees at Tony Talks Vested Up, compelling sports edge. I will see you next time, Vesters and viewers, and thank you so much. Yeah, it's been over 2 hours. I'm good. Rest my case. As a juror, a voter, a registered voter, if I was sitting on that jury, there is nothing that would have convinced me that that was not self-defense, because you can't even tell me or show me that murder was the intended case that you gave him. You can't even show me by that video that murder was the case that you gave Carmelo Anthony. Not with that video. You cannot even show me that murder was the case that you gave Carmelo Anthony. But what you definitely did was reasonable doubt. All right, Dustin. All right. Sorry I couldn't get to come in. That's why they were slim. But thank you so for your love and your support. Don't forget to hit the like button so YouTube will continue to push our voices out here on the platform. Thank you so much. Thank you.